shot him, caught him like a bop. Clicked up on him like he died just like. They cannot fuck with me, I know. G19 everywhere I go. Yeah, it's a new pack if I throw. Always dirty in my pole. Please don't let cool to get the low. And then the party ain't no party. Walk the woo saying it's a go. Hope this dead nigga in the flow. Done had she freaky. I don't kiss tell, girl, believe me. Wanna keep hitting it when your man act up. He don't know you getting even. He won't even know that I'm beating. And the bad turn into a demon. If all that suck me up, I ain't leaving. When she stepping out, I'm the reason. Bitch, I'm YG. Bitch, I'm 2-6. Bitch, I'm in my yes. I got so many yachts. Pussy everybody shot. Niggas know what the fuck going on. I'm back and I'm better, nigga. First one to do it and the last one, nigga. Dickhead.
The next stop is On the Radar Radio.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Bobby Soxer.
You have interfered with our affairs for the last time.
I am literally in the air right now, rapping up a stewardess. First class, I am so new at this. Used to ride a metro, let us hit us retro. Like the infrareds on my feet, baby, let's go. Send out what they know me by, logic what they call me. Gotta catch a flight, but the fans wanna storm me. Life of a dawn, change just glowing. Always in the lab with the fresh kicks on. I'm at the MGM, rockin' MCM. Bobby Soxer on my arm, it's only 10 p.m. Got a rat pack with me going ham at the hotel. Name brand, everything, fuck a wholesale, no. I am not materialistic, I was broke my whole life, then no, I don't miss it. Last 7 years of my life was in a lab, working every day, giving it everything I had. Now that a brother is finally recognized, I will not let the limelight hypnotize. Everybody be sure, I'ma always want more. Does anybody make real shit anymore? Yeah, check it out. Now, the grind never stops like I'm running from the cops. It's hard to stay humble when you're force-fed props, but I don't give a damn. I am just a man, I am not more important than any one of my fans. First name Bobby, so I'm all about the hundreds. Work so hard, everybody think I'm blunted. Gunning hard with the mask and Glock, and I'ma stay with extra clips till the casket drops. Finna blow in the next 3 years, tops. Talking worldwide, not just hip-hop. Rappers nowadays so flip-flop. Talking about you wanna work, motherfucker, kick rocks. I am on a come up, headed to the top. Reppin' MD, and never will it stop. Me and the crew, V's up, visionary, what to do. Step to the mic, lyricism, and so we go hard. Only on campus when I wanna study abroad. Guess that's why they wonder if I go there. All the groupie bitches wanna put their fingers through my hair. Can't fade the thirst, chill out, whoa there. Let me get it, let me bring it back. Haters talking shit, but I get richer when they doing that. Yes, I am pursuing that #1 album worldwide, and fuck whoever doubt 'em.
Logic.
What is going on, family? Drop a one-on-one in the chat if you guys can hear me. Welcome to our FOMC live special, right, where we're gonna obviously be analyzing just what takes place today for the news. So the first drop is gonna be in about 4 minutes, and basically what I'm anticipating overall is for us to ideally just take these lows that we have right here. So to me, I don't know how much lower we're gonna go. I feel like this hourly candle that I have highlighted in here, that could potentially be an area that we react out of to then flip and then continue higher. But to me, it would make a lot of sense to take the low, especially considering with that first initial news release today at 10 o'clock. I believe it was the consumer. Let me just pop it up. Or we had new home sales, right? So with that news drop, obviously we had the actual a little bit lower than the forecast. So we saw the dollar go up a little bit, right? In terms of, or we saw dollar actually go down a little bit. Gold went up. And right now, what we're starting to see is since that drop, right? Since we've taken the high of the day, structure wise on the 15 and 30 minute, we actually didn't close above this high, which to me was kind of interesting. But with the news, with FOMC coming in, we have 2 minutes, you could expect a lot of volatility. So I anticipate to just see a continuation towards the downside. Like I said, at least to these lows. This area would be the first area I would potentially see a reaction towards the upside. But what I could also see is maybe we run this high again, right, and then drop leading into the news, and that would make a little bit of sense as well. Just because for this type of news release, you have to expect a little bit more manipulation. So you're going to see just sometimes maybe the candle will open and will open straight up, but then will sink down, right? So to me, whatever direction we open in is more than likely going to be the direction that we're going to like reverse. So if we open straight down, we're more than likely going to bottom out somewhere either in this area or even a little bit lower, or even potentially lower than this. I ideally want to see these lows get taken too. We have equal lows here. I overall just want to see buys in here at around 1935, just because in dollar, I think dollar still can go a little bit higher in terms of just the weekly. The weekly, really where I'm looking for dollar to come into is at least this area up here. So to me, that would make sense, right? So to have this continuation higher with the dollar, as of right now, even too, with 30 seconds left in this candle, it looks like a fairly bullish close, but obviously with the drop coming in 23 seconds, anything can happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what ends up taking place. But if you're not positioned right now, I would say definitely wait until after the 230 drop to position yourself. So that's why I hosted a little bit earlier than the initial drop, just so we could kind of see what actually takes place. You could see already some increased volatility towards the upside. Right, boom, pop straight down. So that's exactly kind of what I was talking about, right? You see how prior to the news drop, we flipped down, and then all of a sudden now, whoop, gone. So to me, buys should potentially win, unless we're really just sweeping the board, which, yeah, that's exactly holy fuck. Nah, this is exactly, like, I don't think we could have kind of predicted the tomfoolery any better when it comes down to the overall scheme of things. Right now, I really don't know where it's gonna go. Right, to me, based off of that first initial push down, it looks like we could, obviously flip, but at the same time, there is a lot of volatility in the market right now. Just even looking at my spread alone, spread is about 6 pips, which is pretty high. But at the same time, I think shorts, just based off of that little sneak peek, right, I think shorts might win. Like I said, we've kind of this wick right here is the epitome of literally why I was saying that I could have anticipated us to run this high. I would have, I wouldn't have been surprised if we really took out this high. But the fact that we did not, to me, could be a potential sign that, okay, maybe we are going to push a little bit lower than just these first two initial areas. Because to me, just this first initial 5-minute close will kind of dictate. But drop in the chat, how is your guys' initial reaction to that news drop? Is there anyone in positions? Is anyone in the market right now? Did you guys buy or short? Because like I said, right now it could really do either, right? It's done what it has to do in terms of going down to push itself up, right? But then at the same time, it's also gone, it's also basically taken majority of the people that kind of sold, because there really wasn't a lot of selling opportunity at all, right? So to me, like I said, both sides of the boards have been clear, but we're going to get kind of a more clear idea, like I said, ideally by the end of this 15-minute candle close. And even at the next news release, like I said, the 30-minute is going to definitely have a lot more, I guess, perspective that we're going to be able to utilize. So nice. I haven't really personally traded indices too much besides that quick little snag that we got. Nas right now looks like we might take these lows, but at the same time, I don't know, everything's kind of in an interesting area where I don't think we'll be able to really have a clear idea or a clear picture until just after the actual news at 2:30, because to me, whatever we do now might not even be set in stone. So let's say, for example, we wick into this and then we melt down at 2:30, right? We might flip and then end up being higher than we were even previously. So to me, overall, I could see the indices going higher, right? It looks like we have some liquidity, at least Nas. I'm not going to say the whole because I'm only looking at Nas right now. But I would say Nas could make its way up into here, right? Just the fact that we never closed below this low. This looks like some clean accumulation in here, right? We come back, we get this test. So to me, I could really see Nas getting a continuation towards the upside, but based off of just this intraday structure, right? If we don't break above this 15-minute high, we could really see ourselves just continue to print lower. Okay, so for Nas, ideally, I could see us making our way up, but at the same time, like I said, we just kind of have to be a little bit patient. 30, I like the fact that 30 is a little bit more bullish because Nas is probably lagging, if that's the case. Right, so to me, 30 looks a lot cleaner. We had this IPA fill on the hourly, right? We've broken above this hourly high, right? This previous kind of counter trend that we created in terms of just bearish structure. We broke above this lower high, right? As we break above this lower high, notice how we get these wicks that come back. We tap this last down candle, right? That actually drove price up. So to me, it's a very clean fill so far to see us continue higher on US 30. So for Nas, like I said, I could expect a continuation towards the upside. Like I said, I just don't like positioning myself kind of in between the newses unless it's like it's super clean and you're looking to break even right away. But this right here, maybe we see Nas tap into here, right? Fill some of this IPA, take these highs, right? So this is potentially what we could see. But like I said, we have to kind of wait until this 15-minute closes. To me, I would want to see us close fairly bullish. So if we close bearish, that's ideally not what we'd want to see in terms of just overall market direction. Gold is still kind of playing around here. I like the fact that we still haven't taken this high. The fact that we haven't taken the high of the day to me is kind of showing me that we potentially might just get that continuation lower. Because in reality, there's people that, for example, bought right in here, right? They maybe had their take profit set up in here. So think about it. They get their stop loss hit right at the beginning, right? So people who bought it, right, see initially that it looks like a sell, right? So initially people might have positioned themselves down here into sells, right? Because they thought that, okay, they're going to get that continuation for the news, but then instantly in 1 minute, we end up higher and engulfing all of this structure. We wick up into this 5-minute candle. That's in terms of 3-minute structure was really kind of what I was playing. That's why I was saying that we could wick up into that area. But 3-minute wise, if we sit here, kind of break down the insufficiencies that we have. On the 3-minute, we have a little IPA right here, which is what got filled on the upside. But then on the contrary, right, on the downside, look at how fractal this is. On the 3-minute, all we did was come and fill IPA down here. So this is why I say that this is like perfect mitigation on both ends, right? Perfect IPA fills, but it's overall just being able to understand fundamentals, not just of obviously the dollar. I mean, not just gold, but the dollar, right? So just taking a look at the dollar, right? The dollar looks like we wick down in terms of 15-minute structure. We've been maintaining bullish. We've been maintaining this bullish 15-minute structure, right? Broke above this high. You can see that we created some liquidity here as we then proceeded to mitigate, right? We came to this last down candle before we then broke structure. And as of now, we made a new higher high. So even the 15-minute DXY structure is looking, you know, fairly bullish, right? Just from our initial weekly reaction. Like I said, we're not just looking at it from the smaller time frames, but maybe 230 is really what gives us this last drive up. And maybe then we see dollar reverse, maybe even out of here, right? So this is one thing to just keep in mind. But for me, like I said, it's just cool to see price in live action. Like I said, just doing all of this tomfoolery. Because this is why it's important to be able to just be patient. Because like I said, imagine you guys took a position. Like first of all, the spread is trash, right? It was like 7-8 pip spread. So it's like, there's that, right? But then there's the simple fact that price literally, these are 3-minute wicks. So if we go to the 1 minute, and in terms of the 1 minute, this is a lot of volatility. Like this is a lot of quick movement. So it's like, if you don't have quick fingers and if you're not hitting buttons, like let's say for example, if you wanted to buy this right down here, maybe you would have been looking at it while it was down here and you click buy. But drop a 1 to try if you guys ever seen this, right? So you click buy and then it says busy. You guys ever seen that before? Right? You click buy and you're like, what? Busy? Who's busy? Right? So the reason why it says busy is because typically whatever broker you're using, the order books are just slammed. So what that essentially means is that your broker is not able to fill you at the price point that you bought into. So you might click there and buy it and it says busy, and then it enters you into the trade 5 minutes after, and then now you're 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 pips on top or below of where you entered. Like if you were buying, your buy entry, instead of being in here, right, you might click the buy button down here. Then it says busy. Then all of a sudden you're in a buy up here. Like I've had it happen so many times, right? So I try and stick away from getting in like right at the news drops. You know what I mean? But it's like I'm talking like a minute, 2 minutes into the news drops, because you can see right here in the first minute, it was extremely volatile, right? But then if you were to kind of cool out and just wait, let's say for example, let's say you just waited, and even if you wanted to buy it, let's say you just waited till price came back down to at least here, right? This would be less likely of you getting slipped and having your entry higher than buying right at the news drop at 2 o'clock, right? So this is literally exactly, like I said, this right now is, if we don't break down and take this low before 235, to me, it's just like, we might even spike down, take the low, and then take the high again. That to me is what that is kind of showing me, because ideally, with the amount of kind of up and down, the fact that we're kind of consolidating, we're baiting people into both sides. Like, look at this. This is spank in the middle. Like, this is a crazy candle right here. Because like I said, when I'm looking at it from the 15, I'm looking at this as 15-minute structure broke up here, right? And because we didn't make that high, that's what I was playing, right? In terms of just like looking for the overall direction to continue lower. And I just don't think buys are, like, I think buys are coming, but I just don't think dollar is ready yet. So that's why, to me, I still think that even if we don't necessarily sell off like crazy, we probably will leg around this area, give or take, right? I want to take a look at silver too. So silver looks a lot more bullish than gold, but at the same time, silver just comes up and will fill like the very last IPA imbalance type. Like, that's what silver will do. So silver to me looks clean too if we break it down. XAU GBP to me is kind of why I was looking shorts too, just initially based off of this whole, like, if we look at all of this structure for basically the whole like last week, give or take, right, since we capped out here, right, we break in structure, we've gotten just a lot of pullbacks, and we've gotten a lot of retracement fills, and it's been fairly healthy. But to me, just when I was looking at this, when I woke up at like during New York, and I was like, oh shit, we're all the way down here, I was like, okay, we could potentially see XAU USD just catch up to this bearishness, right? So this is really what kind of I was looking at when it came down to GBP, because initially, right, we were looking for just that continuation out of here, but once we got this initial reaction last week Monday, or the beginning of this week Monday, right, we really failed to just respect this low. Like in my eyes, like the fact that we came and consolidated right above it, to me was just showing me signs that, okay, maybe we're just creating equal lows for us to then take, because we want to drive the market a little bit lower. So that's kind of what I was looking at from that perspective. But overall, right now, like I said, it was a volatile open, but it wasn't anything too crazy, right? Oh shit. So Nas came into our area. So you see how that works, huh? Wasn't paying attention. Did anybody get into Nas? Because that was like a fucking no drawdown, quick 30 points. Could have risked maybe 15 to 20. This first target right here. So if anybody got into Nas, shout out to you, because I wasn't paying attention. So I'm not in. But ideally, if we see this 15-minute structure close above here, have no fear. Nas is very good at filling. So I still think the same exact area it'll come back down to. So to me, no need to necessarily trip if you missed, because I missed it too. But at the same time, we would want to see a 15-minute close above here. So now that's going to give us a little bit more confirmation if we do. If we don't, it's not the worst thing in the world. But then at that point, I would just say hold on till after 2:30 to see what ends up taking place. Because more than likely, we probably come back down at 2:30. Or maybe we spike up and then just, like, maybe we spike up, take these highs, and then bada bing, bada boom. 30, like I said, just looked a lot cleaner towards the upside. In terms of just like how we filled and even the overall structure. We had a lot of liquidity built up in here that got captured right at this 10 o'clock news. So to me, it's, like I said, I wouldn't expect anything more than at least us to take the high of the day, right? Considering we took the last, I want to say, yeah, we basically took like the last day and a half's worth of lows, right? So anybody that basically bought anywhere in here, where's their stop loss going to be? Their stop loss is going to be in here. So what happens when these big impulsive down candles come? We end up hitting the stop loss of those individuals who were in. So Goldie, yeah, the way that even this closed, it's still, like I said, I think 2:30 really is still gonna do some more tomfoolery on top of what we already experienced, I would imagine, right? Unless we just fucking dump from here, which is more than probable too. Look at wicks. You really just have to ignore the wicks, right? So if we were to sit here, for example, and we were to just look at the line chart, this is, if you're a new trader, sometimes to look at the line chart when there's a lot of big wicks is going to be ideal towards helping you see clearly without all of those big impulsive wicks that, like I said, just cause confusion sometimes. They might cause you to, like, even look at the sell volume that just came into the market, right? It's big sell candle, right? Right here at, so this is just engulfing all of this previous buy volume, right? So we have the sell volume in the market, but at the same time, now that we ignore these wicks, it doesn't look as scary. And what we can see is it truthfully looks as though we could easily make a new lower low below this low in terms of just the overall little 15-minute counter trend that we're in. But at the same time, the only reason why, like I said, we can go down is because of the fact that we took a lot of liquidity. Like, we captured liquidity from basically last week, right? So we captured a lot of highs within us actually coming up into this area. So that's why, to me, it's just look at where the money was captured last, right? To me, the last money that was captured was equal highs, right? When was the last time that we really took any lows? we took the lows here, but if we really look at, like, there really wasn't a lot of lows to take. All we really took was the same day's lows, right? There wasn't days of liquidity built up, right? Where in this case, we have literally, if anybody sold in here, sold in here, sold in here, it's like all of their stop losses are going to rest in this area, right? So the fact that we came and, like I said, we wicked above not only today's high, but we really captured a lot of liquidity in terms of people who've been selling the last couple of days. So now, to me, like I said, it's one of those times of year where overall we're getting ready to prepare to go into just bullishness, long-term bullishness. But at the same time, before we get bullish, right, we're going to hit out a lot of people from buys. Like, we're just going to keep sweeping the board. We're going to keep hitting out these people that get into the bottom of buys before that. And then it's going to be one final move, and then it's just going to go. That's typically what happens. Like, normally you want to see it come back and test, but when it's really that move, it's just going to come, and it's really, like, for you to get as good of an entry to be able to hold, and I'm saying, like, hold and not have to worry about it coming back to your entry for, like, weeks and months. Like, that type of trade is really only going to happen maybe, like, 2 or 3 times a year. So this is why you have to really be ready to just hold. But then at the same time, you also have to be ready to make a lot of money within the directional shifts in the year. Because with seasonality, yeah, you can look for the big seasonal move. But if you're somebody who's not as disciplined to hold the trades longer term, what you're going to find yourself being able to do is taking advantage of the increased volatility during these times, because you're able to identify all of the little intricate intraday market structure. You're able to understand these institutional concepts and fundamentals, right, that are going to enhance your ability overall to be able to create profitability within trading. So these are some of the things that we have to just think about. Like, drop an 888 in the chat, family, if that makes sense, right? Because we have 18 people in here. I'm excited to see what happens, truthfully, like I said, for this news. US 30 looks like we're running. Nice. Like I said, we didn't close above this 15 minute high just yet, but we still have some time. Like I said, I really think gold might just boom. So we have liquidity at 230. We might see literally boop, a quick little whip. Or on the contrary, really what we'll see is just this. Right? So this is really what I could see happening. Us making our way into, not just necessarily here, but I could see us coming a little bit deeper into this candle and then continuing higher. But at the same time, if we really just follow the money, like I said, we took a lot of highs. We filled some IPA. Where's the money now resting? Well, we sit here and we take a look. In my eyes, this is a lot of money right here. We'll drop a smiley face there just because, right? There's a lot of money there. It makes us happy. Seeing a lot of money there. Because realistically, to me, at the very least, like I said, we'll probably get to here if we are going to continue to go higher. But we could even just see this low get taken, because to me, there's even lows here too. Like, this is more liquidity too. Right? More smiley face action over there. That's all that is. Okay. So, there's 8 minutes left. The last 50 minute at 1980 looks like a nice candle. Yeah, like, okay, so the thing about plays like that is, to me, this is like the UTAD to whatever distro was going on in here. So in my eyes, for us to come back here, we're not just going to respect it and then continue lower. Like, in my eyes, this is now a target. So the fact that we came up to here, this is really the last area for gold that, to me, is going to stop us. Like, if we make it, like, to me, the fact that we took all of these highs, right? So we captured all of this liquidity today. We also mitigated out of this candle, right? 3-4 times, but it's not just this one candle that we're mitigating out of, right? What you really have to do is look left to get right. So we're actually really mitigating out of this candle, right? Why? Because this is literally, these 3 consecutive down candles are the last 3 down candles before we drove price up, and that's what actually captured all of this liquidity. So to me, like, this is that trap candle, right? So there's a reason why we came back and we hit that shit 3 times. We're hitting this shit 3 times, but it's coincidental that this lines up, and notice how right on top of it, this IPA is filled on the hourly, right? If we look up, even in the hourly here, there's not a lot of insufficiency. The fact that we even have wicks here, to me, I wouldn't even really count this as a, like, yeah, there's IPA, but to me, it's filled enough on the hourly, right? The fact that it's filled on the hourly. So to me, looking at price on the hourly, like I said, nothing really needs to come back here on the higher time frame of things, because when we really are breaking structure, like I said, overall we're bullish, but what we're doing is we're getting a counter trend. So you have to expect basically all of these highs to be a target as we start breaking down, because it's, like I said, for us to come higher than this area and react to the downside, I just couldn't see it personally with the structure that's formed here. But it could happen, right? But to me, this is why I just personally like this area better, because to me, like I said, if we were to come up to here, boom, we have this 30-minute candle, or hourly, right? And if we look at the 30-minute, it's a big candle. This is nice, right? And we even come up and we fill. We don't really have a lot of insufficiency up here either. I guarantee if we dig that down, there really isn't any. Okay, so to me, that's kind of more or less why I was like, why I'm not looking up there, and why I wouldn't really look there for shorts, unless, like, I don't know, like we would have to have more distro again right under that area, and then boom, like that'd be the only thing that kind of would make sense to me. But that's why I used to kind of miss certain trades sometimes too, is because I would look at the last up candle, right? I would look at this last up area, and to me, I would wait, and I would end up waiting a long time, because overall, like I said, if we're anticipating the DXY, just based off of the weekly perspective that I gave, right? I could be absolutely wrong, and DXY could do the complete opposite. But let's say that bias aligns, right? What I'm anticipating based off the DXY going up is gold to just obviously continue down to a certain point. And that certain point that we established is really here, right? Because to me, this 1 hour area aligns with the weekly point of interest that I'm looking at. So this is where you have to find confluence in the weekly structure, but then be able to break it down to an hourly area, because realistically, it'll be hard for us to be able to catch an entry on a weekly time frame using like weekly candles, and like it's gonna be a big stop loss. So to me, why not dissect the weekly area and find the 4 hour, 1 hour insufficiencies that really haven't been come back and filled, and look for those points as entry points, right? So that's kind of why sorry, I had a piece of watermelon. But I was looking at that 15-minute candle within 30-minute candle. Like, which one? Up here? That we're talking about on gold still? Yeah, that watermelon is smacking. I feel like Melina for sure. She always eating. I guarantee you she's eating right now. $19.79. Oh yeah. Yeah, so this is the same thing I was really playing too, and I was looking at, I narrowed it down to the hourly, because to me the 30-minute, like I said, is just filled. So when I count certain things as filled, to me, I wouldn't look for it to come higher, because then to me it would just it would create confusion for me, because like I said, I like to have biases just set, and I'm very quick to be able to identify, like, okay, maybe the sells are wrong and I can position myself in the buy. but it's like it would already have to be predetermined that I was anticipating the reversal. So it's not just like I'm buying and because the buys didn't work, now I'm looking to sell. It's like I'm buying and I'm anticipating that we're going to buy, but at the same time, I'm looking overall at dollar and I'm still anticipating that dollar is going to go a little bit higher before we then continue lower. And as a result, like I said, I would want to see gold go lower. So in terms of 15-minute, like I said, the wicks are just used as a distraction. They're used as a manipulation, right? So the fact that we're 1 minute away from this 30-minute candle close, with no wick on top of this candle, we absolutely could flip. There's literally no wicks on the last two candles, but at the same time, I just, yeah. With us coming back down here now, it looks like we're more than likely going to, at the very least, like I said, we'll take this low, we'll come into here, and then we'll fly. But to me, I wouldn't be surprised if we just dump and take all of these lows. So that's what we could expect on Goldie with about 1 minute left. Nasty Nas. Nas came back to this area. Like I said, I wouldn't take it till, like I wouldn't even take this right now. Because to me, like I said, it didn't break above this area. So maybe the shorts on Nas were the right play. 30 still looks bullish though. So that's why to me, Nas, when it's the lagger, what you have to expect is, okay, we didn't quite fill and come all the way down and mitigate off the 100% of this candle. So maybe we actually take that low and we create a little bit of liquidity. Maybe we see something like this come a little bit deeper into this 1 hour body, or this last 15 minute down candle, the body, the 100% of that body. But ideally, let's see what happens on Goldilocks. Alright, this is what I want to see, because I expect some more tomfoolery too. Like I said, it wouldn't be an FOMC day if we didn't get some craziness. Right, so with this previous 30-minute candle, this candle can literally do anything. We don't have to, even, like, you see how there's no wick? We don't even have to, like, that's cool, right? And the only reason why I say that is because of the price action previously, right? It would be insufficient if we didn't literally consolidate and fucking wick around a 50, 60 point radius for literally 10, 15 minutes. But the fact that we did that, to me, ideally, what we probably see at the very, like, if we're going to continue lower, we probably see something like this get filled and then continue lower, right? But at the same time, to me, like I said, I think the shorts are going to win. If the buyers do win, like I said, this would just be gnarly structure to me. Like, I just personally, I wouldn't buy this, right? I might buy it a little bit lower, right? That would be something. This box might be something that I'm looking at, but there's just a little bit too much liquidity there for my liking. So I would want to see a liquidity capture first. But like I said, we actually do not need this candle to really go up at all. The fact that it made a wick up is just sufficient enough. So, okay, Nas 5 minute wise, maybe you could still take this if you really want to, right? To me, we didn't actually close below this 5 minute structure. So this still area is valid, right? I just didn't want you guys to get fucking battered right before the news, right? But if you wanted to take maybe a small position on this, right, from current price action, if you were slow, stop right below the low, about 20 points, give or take. First target, equal highs, about a 1 to 6, and that's if you were getting in late. If you were able to get in just literally in this area and you were just playing it just because, you'd be looking more at about a 1 to 10, right? Can't take the burrow out the man, no cap. Can take the man out the burrow, can't take the burrow out the man. For shit show. So a little bit slower, 230 open, but you really could just see everything kind of just kick up and flip like after. Like, it doesn't necessarily. 230 is, I believe, just fucking somebody speaking, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's a press conference. So literally, with this, you might see reaction in the first 1 minute, but then you might really just see the increased volatility towards the ending of the hour, just with the overall I don't know. Things don't happen right away, right? So it's like obviously at 2:30 you saw something happen right away, but you could obviously see that at 2 o'clock was a lot more volatile than 2:30, right? So 2 o'clock did all of this fuckery. 2:30 now opens up, and it's like if we're filling this to go down, it's filling clean, right? But at the same time, if all we really were doing was filling in this wick, which is what you would want to see in terms of when you have these very, very giant wicks on gold or really anything. If you were to buy it, you would, like, to me, what I do is take my fib from the bottom of the wick to basically the body, right? And to me, if it's more than like a 20 pip wick, which this one is a 43 pip wick on the 5-minute time frame, which is absurd. Anything more than a 10 pip wick on anything under than a 15-minute time frame is typically going to be insufficient. So it's going to be too quick, right? And that's not typically what you want to see. So to me, even if we were to go higher, ideally I would want to see at least 80% of the wick get filled. 78.6 is the first area I would look, which it looks like we just barely missed that area, right? Because to me, if we fill at least 80% of the wick, right, for us to just leave the last little bit of the wick as quote unquote insufficient, it's not really the end of the world, especially when we come down on the smaller time frames. And you can see on the 3-minute, right, it looks that boom, we have these 1-2 bullish candles. It looks like we're wicking up, so we really could see price react and fly out of here. But overall, like I said, like I personally wouldn't really buy that area. It would have to come just a little bit lower for me. And to me, even if it does fly, like the thing about gold is you have to understand that it gives you a lot of re-entries. And with unemployment claims tomorrow at 8:30, I don't really think you're going to miss anything that's too crazy, because there's a lot of news tomorrow and Friday that is still going to shake the market. So to me, I don't think you're necessarily going to miss anything at all if you don't position yourself. If you took Nas, for example, though, to me that's clean. S&P looks like it was pretty clean too. Quick little wick down. 15-minute structure, we never took this low, or like we never actually closed below the low, we took the low. So S&P was pretty clean. S&P has a gap here too on this broker. So to me, Twan, this looks like an easy target if you took this. I know you love your S&P, but to me, I could see S&P, I don't know if we'll necessarily even take the low, but I could see S&P at least getting up into here, right? So to me, right, that's one thing that you could just pay attention to, right? Indices potentially going up, right? Nas, if you guys got into Nas, you guys are living. Did anyone get into Nas or the indices? That was really the only type of entry that I guess we had. Dollar looks like it is going to melt. Alright, so if we melt, then ideally, shit, we're off this, right? Like I said, if the dollar melts, then gold is going to be going to the moon in my eyes, right? Which it looks like on the hourly time frame, dollar looks like it's going to melt. But with just the news opening, I would say we just have to be a little bit patient, because all we really did, like I said, if we're going to go higher, that's kind of what I told you, filling in the wick. So you see how we had this big wick here, and now we're boom. Same thing. Ideally, this should be the lowest point that we really go to. This candle should really flip and be bullish if, like I said, if we're really going to go up. But we could see potentially the dollar. This could be where the dollar kind of caps out, right? Off the 4-hour, it looks like we failed to really kind of close above this previous structure. We wicked above it, filled in some IPA. So shit. DXY could potentially start making its way down. Like I said, we wanted to see it come a little bit higher, but overall, right, whatever happens, you know, it's gonna happen. So overall, I would anticipate, just looking at it right now after the 230 drop, we probably see bearish dollar. But if it flips, then that's just it. To me, like I said, I don't like to really change my bias, but it's like I'm aware to both sides of what could happen. So like I said, just even with gold, this 15-minute, right, we shouldn't have really came all the way back up here at all, period. right? So this is kind of what I'm talking about, sweeping the board, right? We filled out 80% of this wick almost. And even, for example, if we were to still continue lower, we basically just took anyone that shorted here. So this is why I say wait until the 230 is always going to be your best friend, because if you got in before 230, if you got in right at this open, right, you could have caught the highest point and you would have caught a quick maybe like 50, 60 pips. But then literally within the span of 6 minutes, you would have probably got hit out, your stop loss hit, just for price to go in the right direction still. So this is why I say you can't be too scared, right? This is why you don't want to enter trades late. And this is why, like, even for example, like if you were to have been taking longs, you would have wanted to take it up here, right? Out of the same 5-minute area that we basically reacted, 3-minute, 5-minute insufficiency that we filled, right? Because in reality, all we really did was come and we mitigated even higher, right? This is why I talk about it. If you were using this candle, when I talk about playing individual candles, right? This is why I talk about the 110% of the candle, because the 110% of the candle would basically be up here. So imagine you were able to just take a position off the 110% of this candle, right? You have literally 9 pip stop, right? Or it's not even a 9 pip. It's like half a pip. That's like 1 pip. You'll have, let's say you want to be safe, you'll have a 2 pip stop. Just to that first initial bounce that you got would have been a 1 to 17. Obviously it went higher now, but it's like you get the gist of everything, right? That's why it's just so crucial to be able to just be aware of what's happening in terms of the market and not sit there and just get trapped into the bias of one thing. Because when that happens, like I said, it's like you're never gonna miss a trade that you see happening. So for example, it's like it's going up. This is what we want to see, right? If you wanted price to go up, right, this is what you want to see. This is how you would have wanted to see price get out of here, right? But at the same time, right, where are we coming to? Just 100% of this hourly candle, right? With gold, it's like you never really know what we're gonna do, because maybe we just shook out everyone, right? And maybe now we just melt, right? Because we shook out all the buyers, right? But overall, what is dollar telling us? Dollar is telling us that this shit is gonna fly, right? Like I said, the likelihood of it kind of reacting out of here, to me, is really slim to none. And if you just look at the dollar, like, to me, we could react out of here, but to me, I see more likely of a reaction out of here if we were to even react, right? So this is one thing to really just keep in mind if you're trading, right? Is that shit, if this were to happen, right, are you ready and are you prepared when it comes down to just the overall schematic of everything, right? Are you aware of where potentially price could react and reverse out of? And are you just always just dead set on one area, right? Or are you able to sit here and are you able to expand and diversify your areas based off of just various fundamentals? Like I said, wick off. Like, a lot of people I feel like are not using wick off, and it shows because you guys are entering in phase A and phase B instead of phase C, and you can't tell why, right? So overall on dollar, we can see that we got this nice little tap off this hourly candle, right? And since then, obviously, we're getting that nice little just dump to the downside, right? So overall, like I said, I would anticipate just gold to fly and obviously dollar to continue to the downside just based off of the news. Like I said, it just wouldn't make sense to do it any other way. So 30 we can see exploded. S&P exploded, right? Nas exploded. So realistically, the indices were basically the plays of the day. As you can see, like, this shit already would have hit TP on Nas. So this is one thing too, when you see obviously the indices and gold basically doing the same thing, right? Everything's flying. It's like one of them is lying, right? So it's basically just figuring out where the dollar is going to react out of. Because to me, like I said, we could easily react out of here maybe for gold to then have us continue to the downside. But at the same token, it's like the indices could reverse out of these first TP areas that we had, right? We had these targets, even S&P. It's like we wicked it above all of this structure. US 30 was a banger. This shit flew. Right, so overall, just very clean movements when we're looking at things overall. So to me, like I said, it was interesting to kind of get our predictions. Like I said, the initial 2 o'clock was that just kind of clean the board, right? Sweep basically everybody from the day. And then ideally shit. It just 2:30, like I said, it could really just do anything at any point. Like at that point you saw that it opened up the first initial like 5 minutes was, you know, bearish, right? It wasn't even bearish. We just literally wicked down right at 4:30 or right at what's it called? What time is it? 2:30, right? So just being able to identify that even is just something that is going to be able to help you in the long term of things, right? Just being able to position yourself and then also just understand where the market's going to go. Yeah, that NAS setup was super clean. Like I said, it was just obviously we wanted to be safe with the news, which is, to me, I don't think you could have been any safer in terms of just waiting for this 5-minute close and then just, like I said, literally getting in at the top of the 15-minute open, right? So that's just one thing that, like I said, is just, it goes a long way when you can sit there and you can really pay attention to the bigger picture of things, and just identify, just not out of what you think price is going to do or what you want price to do, just more or less just being able to sit there and read the book of what the story is telling you, right? Because everything is like a picture, right? And the picture is telling you something, and it's just to be able to listen to the picture and trust it, right? A lot of people are just sitting there and you guys are not listening to what the market is telling you and wondering why you're experiencing technical difficulties, if you will. Right? So to me, yeah, sure. We really, right now, with the areas that we came into for everything, we could really see everything reverse. Like Nas right now is reacting out of this IPA. This is what I wanted to see. Because like I said, with 230, like I said, we basically would have just cleared both sides of the board. So even though we took the low on S&P, boom, now we just took the high. So the fact that we took the high, right, the fact that we took the high on Nas, and even on gold, the fact that we took the high, that's big, right? Because us taking so many highs, even if we're gonna go higher, like I said, you're gonna get a re-entry. So like I said, you're never gonna miss price. Because like I said, if you miss, to me, I don't even know if this will still hold. To be honest, like this still doesn't even look like. And this just looks more like more liquidity, right? So to me, I don't even think that we're necessarily gonna go too much higher from here still, even. Because to me, we just really just captured more liquidity. Like I really could see us just dumping and taking these lows, right? So this is why I say just sit there and trust the bias. Because with the news is just the excuse to sit here and do all this fuckery, right? Like I said, overall, we wanted to see dollar go higher, but we weren't oblivious to the fact that we were in a range, right? Like I said, we had this area, we have this area. We were just following the immediate 15-minute structure, right? But overall, what are we looking at? We're looking at the motherfucking weekly, right? We're looking at the weekly. So the weekly, to me, closes in 2 days. If the weekly closes in 2 days and closes bearish, then to me, we probably might not even get all the way up here. But with 2 days left, you really have to sit here and you just have to be patient. Like I said, especially with 2 days left of volatile news, with big news events, not just like little news events. Like I said, realistically, this swept the board now to the downside. Like on the dollar, we didn't sweep any liquidity to the upside. So this is what you have to look at when you're comparing to the forex pairs that you're trading and the indices. If the dollar never swept any liquidity to the upside and all we did was take equal lows, where do you think we're going now? Where do you think we're going? Probably to target the highs, right? Probably to target the equal highs that we left. So to me, this is the fundamental that I look at. So even though we wanted to see gold go down, right? We wanted to see just certain things play out with the news. Like I said, this is really just cleaning the board. So it's like, for me, for example, it's like gold shorts make a lot of sense, right? I'd be lying if I said I didn't short it, right? But that's just because of the fundamentals that I look at, right? I'm not worried about all of this quick, fast movement. What's fast doesn't last. The fact that we exploded above all of this healthy price action, this is all healthy price action, by the way, prior to this big wick. So it's all healthy price action. So the fact that we did that, to me, just rubbed my feathers the wrong way just initially off the rip. Because I'm like, that just doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense if we're really going to sit here and we're going to do this thing, right? So for me, like I said, I'm still looking to target the exact same targets, right? Looks like Antoine came deeper into that same area, right? But all we really did was wick into, like, wick quick. Like I said, this is one of those ones where, like I said, when gold fucks around and find out, it's a quick push and then boom. Like, realistically, with the next 11 minutes, we should basically close all the way down here if we're really going to go down, right? If we're not, if we're not going to close down, then to me, we've gone low enough. Like, we could potentially fly out of here. We filled the IPA. We mitigated. So to me, Goldie is either going to explode through the face of the earth or it's going to melt. And I would say it will kind of dictate on whether or not what the dollar does, because the indices and gold right now are kind of in sync, which is ideally, like, it happens at times, but you don't really want to see that. Because for the most part, they're doing just the opposite, right? So just because gold is a safe haven for the dollar, right, and all of these indices are backed heavily by the dollar, right? They wouldn't exist without the dollar. So in terms of that, this is why we have to sit here and we have to take certain precautions when it comes down to just getting in, getting out, as well as just when does it make sense to get in and out. Like, for example, if you took the longs from down here and price came into here, like, it would have made sense to just be out and done on that. It's like there would be no reason to feel the need to kind of, or the urge or desire to get back in, even if you wanted to sell it. It's like, when you sit here and you try and sell right away after you buy, that's kind of sometimes when you'll eat away at your profits, unless you're really getting in at the top of the range. Then to me, it's like you'll have a likelihood to probably make a little bit of coin, but you don't want to just have the likelihood to make a little bit. You want to be able to have your likelihood to be increased so that your risk reward is going to be maximized to something that will be efficient enough for you to not have to trade every day. Like, do you want to have to trade every day, or do you want to have to trade once a month and once a year? Imagine you could make a yearly income from trading twice a year. It's like, is that what you want? Or is your goal to be trading every day? Right? Because to me, you have to identify what your goal is, because no goal is right or wrong, but it's just being able to identify what is going to work best for you. Right? To me, I'm thinking that, remember how I told you that one of them would be lying with the dollar, or not with the dollar, with the indices and gold and dollar all doing the same shit? I'm like, yeah, one of them is lying, right? So the one that I think was lying, right, was probably Goldie. Goldie was probably lying. If DXY just flips out of this area. Like I said, we're really in an area right now where there's going to be volatility. So if you're somebody who, like I said, is just very new to the news, it's like, I would be sitting here, I'd just be watching, right? Because if you don't really have a fundamental understanding of what's going on right now, it's like you might be in profit and then you come back two minutes later and then now you're in drawdown, and then stop loss gets hit, and then just all of these things might occur within a quick span of time. And if you're not able to contain your emotions, then you're just going to find yourself in a cycle where you're probably just more annoyed than anything, as opposed to sitting there happy about being able to make money. On the 5 minute, this low key looks like, boom, we could get a Pepe candle. If you don't know what a Pepe candle is, I'll show you guys the meme. Pepe candle, boop. Alright, so we could see a fat Pepe candle right now. The XY still looks like it's gonna go down, right? The only thing that could save it is the 30-minute candle closing above this. And then us pushing straight down at the beginning of the new hourly and then flying. That's the only thing that in my eyes could save it. But that's just me, like I said. Because if it doesn't, then to me it could go a little bit lower to here. Like I said, it's the next area I'd really look. But if it breaks down below there, I don't really know that. I wouldn't really want to see it break too much lower than this. It could come a little bit lower, this IPA as well. Like we have a lot of insufficiency to downside, so it truthfully could come a little bit lower. But like I said, I'm not looking for structure to necessarily build towards the upside. I'm more or less looking for just that weekly point of interest to be met. But at the very least, like I said, we came in correct. We corrected a little bit of IPA. And took some liquidity, so that's one thing to really just note. But like I said, the 15-minute looks like it low-key looking like it's gonna melt. Like I said, the 30-minute hourly close will kind of dictate for sure. Like in 5 minutes, if this closes below this, then 100% this shit is probably gonna dump. It'll probably push up and fill this wick first, fill this little IPA, and then continue lower. But maybe these highs are not going to be the initial target, right, that we are able to get to right away. So we see crypto kind of popped a little bit too. Nothing too crazy. Like on the day, a little percent. A little some light, but still even the indices too, it looks like Ethereum just came into this trap candle, right? We got that mitigation. Looks like we filled a little bit of IPA as well. We captured a lot of liquidity, right? A lot of people that were selling had stop losses all up in here, right? We hit out those individuals. So that's one thing that you could really be on the lookout for as well, right? You could be on the lookout for that continuation to the downside. Goldie looks like we're gonna melt. Yeah, I like the shorts. Like I said, I'm in shorts. I personally was able to snag an entry up here, so I'm just being militant. To me, it shouldn't come higher. Like at this point, we've done all the sweeping of liquidity in my eyes that we need to do. So I wouldn't want to see us actually come back up above this high again. To me, it would be bad. But what really I think the opportunity and the best opportunity is gonna be for shorts, if it does really like fall down, what I think is gonna end up happening is we're gonna get a re-entry right at the beginning of tomorrow's daily open. So that's essentially more or less like what I would anticipate, right? But in terms of that, we really just have to see how this hourly closes, because right now in the 3 minute, like if this comes all the way back up here, like I don't even want to see it. Like this coming all the way back up here right now is already like no bueno, right? Like I said, I don't want to see it keep taking this high, because if it does, then like I said, it's just going to continue to go higher, because obviously we looked at dollar, right? We looked at dollar and surprise, surprise, right? Taking the low, right? So with 3 minutes left, it looks like dollar is going to close damn near where it's at, right? Like I said, that 15-minute candle looked like death. Like the Pepe candle, if you guys don't know what the Pepe candle is. Oh, we didn't even get a Pepe candle, right? But yeah, lower time frame wise, looks like it's gonna melt. So to me, what does that mean in terms of gold? Probably will go a little bit higher, but I don't like to really sit here and just be dead stuck on what DXY is doing on the in-between. Like I said, if I'm bullish on DXY for the like intraday, then I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna trust that overall we're gonna go fill what we need to fill. But overall, I expect that we're gonna close just the way I anticipate, right? In terms of like if I'm playing gold, right? But at the same time, right now, like I said, with just if it doesn't fall from here, like I said, I don't see it reacting out of here. Like the fact that it already came up to where it's at, I only liked it because it was quick. It was a quick little whoop, pop up, took that liquidity, and then like I said, we got a couple candles towards the downside. But to me right now, it doesn't even look as though we are going to be able to actually see it continue down right now. So like I said, I wouldn't really take any other shorts. Like if you took this one with me, I only had like a 10 pip stop from where I entered, just because like I said, I'm not the one to sit here and get slipped. I'm not trying to get slipped for no reason, especially right now. Like I said, this is a volatile area where I think we could just, it's not necessarily just because there's a lot of liquidity over here on gold. It's more or less because to me there's a lot of liquidity on DXY on the downside that to me we're just gonna continue to take. So you can see obviously DXY breaking its way down, Goldie breaking its way up. So like I said, I don't really think that the shorts are valid. If they are, shit. To me, if I get tapped out of this area, which I'm about to right now, then I'm not really looking to force a re-entry right now. I'd rather wait till tomorrow to see how we close. We end up closing today, not just on gold, but I would want to see how we close on the dollar as well to see potentially if we could position ourselves tomorrow, maybe in London session before the news, or even just after tomorrow's news, right? Because tomorrow we have news at 8:30, so, and we have news at 10 o'clock as well. So that's one thing to really keep in mind, is that we're gonna have news before a stream, and then we're gonna have news at stream as well. So there will be opportunities to get into the market before and after for sure. So it's just being able to sit there and, like I said, position yourself based off of whatever it is that you're anticipating or expecting just the market to do. So like I said, right now, I don't know, we could really see it kind of box its way back up, like I said, to this black line. But realistically, with us opening straight up, we could really just dump. So don't get too dead set on that open. Like I said, I think that we're probably just going to flip, which is exactly what we're doing. So in terms of gold shorts, like I said, I don't know if we're ready quite yet. Maybe the longs are really ready, because based off seasonality, basically the end of this week is really where we should be kicking into the volatility. So to me, if we close this month like extremely bullish, then to me, like I said, August, I would just expect continuation. I wouldn't really look for anything else. And even right now, based off seasonality, things should be, like I said, the last week of this month is really where you see things kind of kick in. So to me, I still never got my stop loss hit, so I'm in currently, but I just don't know if this is going to stick. Like I said, dollar has to go up, which is what we anticipated to do, but based off of obviously the smaller time frame, it looks like we more than definitely can continue to break down. But shit, you know what I mean? This is why we look at the higher time frame, because the weekly, we're not really worried about the hourly. We're worried about how do we close in the next 2 days, right? So really, the next 2 days can kind of do whatever. Like I said, as long as we're closed above this, to me, we should be good, right? So you can see Nas literally melted out of our area. Didn't like melt, but I'd say it's about like 50 points. Yeah, so 50 points. Nas has already kind of fallen since we hit that high. This is the same thing that I was mentioning with SM. Why are these candles so fucking ugly? Oh my god, I need to find another broker for this shit. Anton, which one do you use, man? This is Capital.com. If you use Capital.com too, you're a psychopath. Big Montaigne. No funny shit either. I'm being so serious. You're a fucking psychopath. Right, I hope this shit melts. I just hope it melts, because like I said, I just think the buy is like, I don't know, everybody's trying to buy it now. Everyone's like, buy. Everybody's trying to buy. I don't know why I low-key just want the market to go the opposite. Just because to me, it's like, if it's that easy, then it's like, it couldn't be that easy. Owanda, okay. So, to me, like I said, we'll see. We will see. Because like I said, it's not that I'm not bullish. I just think that we're going to shake out everybody. Like gold, when we make our seasonal pushes, we literally will hit out as many fucking people as possible. So to me, like, I don't think we'll come below 18. Like, I don't think we'll come back below, like, 1900, basically. Like, if we could go below 1900, to me, I think we're going back to, like, 17 land. Right? But I would expect to see this and then a continuation higher. Like, realistically. If not from here, like, we're going to have news that just fucking melts us down. We might make a higher high first. That might be what happened, right? We might make a higher high first and then get that retracement. So that might be what happens too. So that's one thing to kind of pay attention to. But in terms of that, family, we've been going for about an hour, right? Hour and some change now. So if you guys got any type of value at all, make sure you guys drop a like on the stream for me. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow at 10. You know, we're going to be live today at 10. But when I was up earlier this morning, I really, like, I just didn't. I just wanted news to happen, and I just wanted to see what was taking place leading into 2 o'clock. So I wasn't really, I didn't have a sense of urgency to get it in right away. So that's why I rather just do the stream after. And it looks like I chose right, because if we did the stream this morning, there would have been opportunity to enter and catch a trade. But you would have got fucking hit out just now. Right? With no guidance and no nothing. And it would have just been you, your demons, and trading view. So, I appreciate you guys too. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow on stream. And let's definitely lock in, family. If you guys made some money today, if you guys got any type of value, drop some 888s in the chat, fam. But I'm going to catch you guys on the flip. Peace.